Hi, my name is Robert McDonell. I am Michaela's grandpa, and I've been known to whittle a little bit. Today I'm going to be whittling on some peach seeds, making some baskets, and of course you can see I've got a lot of other things around here that I've whittled and made, and maybe we'll get to go into that how we do that. But this is what I start with, just a small peach seed, and then of course this is a little smaller, but that's the finished product with a handle on top, a peach seed basket. I don't know if you know, but a peach seed is pretty hard. It's about as hard as any kind of wood they are, and you just can't get in no hurry. And my hands don't hold these little small peach seeds as well as they used to. But what we're going to do, this is going to be the bottom of it, right here. It'll set up like that, and we're going to cut it down about halfway, and then cut it in, and this outside the rim here is going to be the handle to it. So we'll just cut both sides, and then when we get that off, we can get down in where the peach seeds at, and then holler it on out, make it bigger in there where it looks more like a basket. Most of the time, you don't get in no hurry with these things. You just have to, like the saying goes, like a cat eating a grindstone. It's a slow go. What we got to do, I've got it partially cut down. We got to cut this seed down on both sides, and then go all the way through in the middle. Cut that out, and then shaped up the handle here to make it pretty. But it's just a matter of cutting it down, and then you can see we're getting into the seed itself. We get in there, it gets a little thinner, and we start cutting that out, and then when we get that out, we can move on down inside the basket and work on it. You see, there's the path we found it. This is a slow go. You don't get in a hurry. We've got her cut through now, and the biggest thing we get like being done with this, and we gotta make this basket bigger inside so it'll hold more, and we gotta get that cut out inside. It's a little softer inside, works a little better. Plus, after we get that out, we got to make this handle a lot more pretty. We got to shape it up, make a nice handle on it. You can tell I'm not getting a very big cut at a time because it's hard. You just kind of scratch it off, but you don't get in a hurry. Just got to have patience, and if you try to make one and it messes up on you, that's kind of the norm. You have them that you have problems with. You just don't give up. Keep on plugging away.
So, how long do you think it takes you to make one of these from start to finish?
Well, I never have timed it, but I've spent a minute of an hour. I would say, of course, I'm slow. Probably take me 3 hours to make one of these. Something you can't get in a hurry with. You just can cut so much at a time, and it's so small and tedious too. You got to be careful with your fingers, but it's just something to pass the time, and you got to have patience. I've been told I had the patience of Job, but I don't know sometimes if I do or not. but it's something you have to enjoy to be able to stay with it. Okay, we've moved along pretty well to different stages on it. We're down to the finished product pretty much now. We've got it all cut out inside. We can carry a lot of stuff in there, and we got the handle shaped up a little more and smooth and everything, and we got the bottom cut flat so it'll set up. If we wanted to make it look real pretty, we could probably take a little sandpaper and slick this handle and different parts of it up, and maybe even put a little polyurethane or something on it, and it'd make them much more prettier. I'm pretty much just like to make them, and I don't care for the painting or nothing. No, I don't never paint none of them.
So which wood do you like to whittle on the most?
Well, cedar or white pine is fairly soft and works good. I've whittled on everything though, and a lot of my walking sticks are made out of dogwood. I got one, I made it into a rattlesnake. It's made out of a sourwood, which grows real good and straight. Now this, of course, is a walking stick. I cut it because it had a nice handle on it, but it had a prong that ran out this way too. So I got the idea, well, I'll make the handle over here, and I'll take this prong. This used to be a stick that went out like that. You see, there's was the size of it. And I just whittled out some chain links and hung that ball on the end of it, and just let it hang down. So you got that there to make a noise. If you're walking, it'd keep you from going to sleep while you're walking. It'll make a noise. Of course, this one don't have a snake on it. I've got more of them that I put a snake on. Now this one is very similar. It had a limb that came out out this way, and I decided to put two balls in a box and then two ends on it, and hung it on the end of my walking stick, which is a pretty good walking stick, good and straight, but probably not a whole lot of use you can use that ball and chain on there for, but I've got it. Now here we're going to get into the snake sticks. Every so often I used to go out in the woods and look for these things. And what you look for when you're out there, you find a small sapling or tree that's had a vine that grows around it all the way up, and it cuts into the wood and it makes the shape. Well, then when you get ready to make the snake, of course there's his head, you just start cutting down on your wood down in toward the vine. You get the vine out and just follow the way the vine went, and then you shape the other side. You cut it to where it goes down. And on this one and most of them I left the bark on to make it look like a rough scaly snake on it. But I made a lot of them. I had a buddy, me and him used to build a fire and sit and whittle and talk about every night making these things. I got all descriptions of them, different things. I think this in here is a mulberry, I believe, but I've got sourwood, dogwood, beech, mulberry, just whatever happened to have a vine on it. Now this stick here has not got too much of a good handhold, but I got to working on it and getting it all whittled out, and it got to looking to me like an old mule with his head throwed back and his mouth open, and he was braying like a mule. And so I kind of whittled in that direction. Then I got to looking at the other side, see what it looked like. And to me, it looked like a rabbit, a jackrabbit that's standing up on his hind legs. So that's my mule rabbit stick there, I reckon. Think too good of a walking stick, but it's a talking piece, I guess. But he's got a funny looking ears, but he does resemble a rabbit. Now here's another one that was really had a vine cut into it, and it was so cut in so deep I wanted to try to make something out of it. Well, I got the whittling on it, got it all cut out and everything, and it had this end sticking up, and I thought, well, that can be a cobra snake. So I kind of whittled in the direction, kind of make it look like a cobra with his head stuck up like that. It resembles one, I reckon, but it'd make a pretty good. It's got a pretty good handhold stick to walk with, and if you had a cobra snake, it'd keep everything run off, I guess. Now this here, it's cedar. It was good whittling. It was a pretty good sized stick, but it had all this funny looking curl up the top, and I wanted to make a walking stick out of it. Well, it had all kinds of shapes on it, so I started in the direction of whittling out a face on it. And then I put some polyurethane on it, make that cedar look better. But it would work. It's light, but he's kind of a funny looking man. I don't know what you'd call him, but it was easy to make and good whittling. That's what I liked about it. Yeah, I guess this one here is a longer stick. You'd have to use it like a staff in the mountains of walking, I guess. It's got two good handholds on it at the top, and I left the bark on it so you could grip it good. And put a little snake at the bottom, and like those others, I had an extra limb on it, so I just decided to put a few chain links on it and hang a ball on it too. So there's something else to whittle on, I reckon. I guess that about does all our snake sticks.
What about your rattler?
This one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is my sourwood, the good straight one of the first ones that I made. I've done a little more work on it, put him a tongue here sticking out, and then had some good curls on here to make the snake part. Well, since I was going to make a rattlesnake, I put the diamonds on his back. He's a diamondback rattler. And then I put him a few rattlers here on the tail with the button on it there. I don't know how many, there's quite a few rattlers on it though. And then I had enough left up here to do a small one at the handle. But what I liked about it is good and straight. And the sourwood worked good too when I was making it. But like I said, that's one of the first ones. I made this in 1995, so it's one of the first ones I made. Yeah, this, I don't know what the official name is for it, but I just call it a ball in a box, which I got two on this one. I usually make just one. I decided to see if I could do two, but you just get a perfectly cube and mark it out around the edges where you want to cut. Then you start cutting down in there, down in here. You come around this side, you cut it the same way. You keep cutting in there till you come together. And when you get that ball loose in there, then of course you gotta shape it up, get it rounded. Like I said, this one was just most of a challenge to see if I could whittle out two in there. Most of the time it's just one, and I've whittled them on a little everything. You'll see later that I put some of them on walking sticks and everything else. Like everything else, I seen one of these and I thought, I believe I could do that. And I made this one out of redwood, which is good soft wood to whittle and pretty durable too. And I've got some made out of pine and different things, but that's the way you make one of them. Just have a lot of time and patience is all it takes. Now this is a combination of a few chain links on the end of it. In fact, this is one of the first times I ever tried to make a chain. You got to start out with a square piece of wood. And I started on this one. After I made a few links, I discovered it didn't look like a chain. It just looked like a bunch of circles enclosed together. And after that, I got to make it look more like chain links. And then when I got the chain whittled out on here, I decided to put some of these balls inside the thing here. And as you can see, that's as far as I got. I haven't finished it up. I got old and don't like to do it like I used to, but there could be a lot of things made off what I've got left here. But that's one of the first chains I ever made. Now this is what I come up with just sitting around. I think I was probably around more to building a house or something. Picked up a piece of 2x4 and I was whittling on it. And I just kept whittling and making different looking things on it. It wasn't nothing in particular that I started at. I don't know what you'd call it. Somebody told me it was folk art. I guess it's folky, all right. But I got a face on it, and I guess, I don't know, this may be supposed to be a feather, or maybe this supposed to be a dog here. I don't know, but I just sitting and whittling to see what I come out with, and that's what I got. This here is a train whistle. And I thought, well, that's simple enough. I could make one of them. So I made a lot of them. I give a lot of them away. I sold some of them. They were very popular at one time. They sound a lot like a train when you blow them right. But I did and made a lot of them. And this is a dog, a long-eared dog that I guess you'd call it a beagle dog maybe, because he's got big ears. And that's, I never made very many animals or anything like that, but I whittled that out, kind of drawed it out, and then sawed it out and started whittling, and that's what I came out with. Of course, this stuff is just different things fastened together with chain links and balls in it and everything. Just something I picked up a piece of wood and I ended up with. And here is a crane or what'd you call it?
Pelican.
Pelican.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made that one how I want it. I guess the hardest part of it was trying to get the feathers on its side there, but never did get the legs on it where it would stand up. I got that far along and I quit, I reckon. Of course, this is a little mallet. When I first got my lathe, anything simple, I turned it out when I first got it. Something I could make like that. But I really enjoyed the lathe. Well, I still do if I get into it, but I used to really enjoy turning stuff on the lathe. I've made a lot of bowls and also here's a rolling pin I made on the lathe. It's made out of a piece of hollywood. It's real white and everything. And of course, it had never been used, but that was something simple and pretty easy to make when I started out. But then I got a little more high tech with it. I made this candelabra here. Instead of making it round, I made it oblong, which I had seen in a book where you could do that. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I wanted to see if I can do that. So you can see right here on the end where I chucked it up in the lathe, and you start out on a center cut and get it round, then you offset it to one side and work on it, and then you offset it to the other side and work on it, smooth it up, and you end up with it being all brown, which takes a little more time of rechucking it in your lathe and everything, but it makes something a little different. And this wood here is mulberry. You can see it's kind of real yellow colored, and it works good too. And this here, I got the idea to whittle out a car. If you look at that front end there, you never seen many vehicles like that. That was a 58 Edsel with a vertical grill there in the middle. I got it pretty far along and actually never did finish it, but I think I got it far enough along that it looks like an Edsel. I meant to whittle me out some wheels and everything, put on it and paint it and all that, but I didn't get that far. Of course, I made a few spoons, different kinds, and I don't know what you call this spoon. I've seen them. Don't know what the purpose of them is, but I whittled that out, and I've got some bigger ones that I made. Of course, here's a piece I made on the lathe. It's just something like an ashtray or just something puts junk in. Back here's some more whittlings with different things on them. You get ideas when you're working on it. Well, I think I'll do this or do that, and of course you just want to do it to see if you can. And I've got some hand tools here. This is a wooden maul they used to use to drive stuff in the ground and everything years ago. And then, of course, here's what they call a double-bitted axe. And then I whittled out another single side, I think, can't remember what they do call that axe. Pole axe, I believe what they call that one. Got the little crooked handle. But that's just something you sit down and you get an idea and you just work toward that. And also, I've got my knife here in my hand. A while ago when I was whittling, I was using my pocket knife. And that's what I used to whittle with all the time. As I got older, my hands didn't have good grip and everything. And I come up with this regular carving knife. Got a bigger handle. And it works a whole lot better. And I sharpen this. I take a buffing wheel and I put valve grinding compound on it, and then I just buff this blade, and you can put a really good carving edge on it just with that grit in that buffing wheel. You can see here I've got a little puzzle or a little trick, something to make you think, blow your mind, I made. You open it up, of course you got money in there. I use leather to strap it up and everything. I've got lots of different kinds of these little puzzles. When I'd see them somewhere, why I wanted to make one to see. And if you've noticed, this $5 bill swaps sides. Of course, that's the trick. You gotta learn how to make that $5 bill go from one side to the other side. It kind of blows your mind till you get to watching the whole operation, and it ain't too hard to catch on. But that was always one of the things when I'd see something, was the challenge of seeing if I could do it. I've made a lot of different little old puzzles and stuff. I didn't think to have it here with me today, but I put a plunger down in a gallon jug and then and it filled the hole up full, and then down in the bottom, I put a pin through the bottom of it. And the idea was to figure out how in the world I got it in there, and it took some figuring before nobody tell me how you did it. So, but I finally figured out how it was done, and made some big ones and some smaller ones. And of course, every time I seen some kind of a puzzle that I thought I could make, I had to make one. Sometimes I'd buy one so I could see it to make me one. Yeah, I've got this table I'm using here. I built it too myself. I built quite a few different things, little whatnots to go on the wall, and tables, and potato and onion boxes. And this table I seen, I liked it real well, and I thought it looked like something I could do. Of course, the center post here in it, I turned it out myself on a lathe. I got the pattern of these legs, sawed them out, and routed the edges and everything, and built the top. Now also, after I built this one out of pine, I decided I wanted to build me another one and build it out of oak. And in the meantime, when this was going on, the high school where I went to school at, in grade school, they were tearing down an old building that there had been there, was built in around 1930, 31. And I went over and asked the guys about some of the wood, and they said, yeah, they were selling it. And I said, well, I want to buy some of it. So I bought some of it. It was oak wood, been in there all those years. This was back maybe 10, 15 years ago. And it was rough sawed. I got it out, and had so many nails in it and stuff. I had to take a metal detector to find the nails in it and get them out. And I took it to a shop and got it planed down and everything, smooth. And I built me one out of oak, which I thought was awful pretty, and I call it my Lanier table. I went to Lanier High School and I thought, well, this come out of the building there. I'll call it my Lanier table, and I wrote that underneath it. But I thought it was a good-looking table and wanted to build one of them. As you can see here, I've got a doll or a cowboy or a man. I've been told that they called these things lumberjacks, which they are pretty limber. But it dances too and cuts a shine. But I call mine a dancing cowboy. He's got his boots on, and he can really get on with it. Okay, I guess that's about all I've got, and I appreciate you putting up with this, and I thank you for seeing some of the junk I've made and I've enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. I still enjoy it, but I just can't do it like I used to.